Bonjour. Today we are going to talk about le futur proche. Le futur proche means the near future, and it's used to talk about things happening soon, plans you are making, stuff you are going to do. So let's look at le futur proche and try to understand what it is. The near future, le futur proche, in English looks like this. I'm going to go to the market on Saturday morning. She's going to meet up with her friends at the cafe. We're not going to go to the park today. So it's talking about stuff happening soon, things happening maybe next week or this weekend or tonight or even next year. But there's something that you're planning out in a future that is pretty soon. This is not like the far off, someday I'll be famous kind of future. That is called le futur simple, the simple future. We are looking at le futur proche, the near future. And if we break this down a little bit, notice that all three of these sentences include the word going. In French, that word is aller, aller, to go. And we're going to conjugate the verb aller. I am going, she is going, we are not going. That is conjugated. But notice that there's a second verb in each of these sentences, the activity that you're planning. To go to the market, to meet up with friends, to go to the park. So we actually have a two-verb sentence. We have the first verb aller that is conjugated. I'm going, she's going, we're not going. And then the second verb is the infinitive. It is not conjugated. To go, to meet, to go. So if I were to start to translate these ideas into French, it would actually be set up the same sort of way. I'm going, je vais, to go. That's just the verb aller by itself. Je vais aller, I'm gonna go. Je vais aller. She's going, conjugated is elle va. To meet up with, retrouver, like retrouver les amis. Elle va retrouver, she's gonna go meet up with. We are not going to go. Nous n'allons pas. And then the to go, I would just put aller again. So this is what the near future kind of looks like. Let's go into a little more detail. First of all, a refresher, the verb aller means to go. Je vais, tu vas, il va, elle va, on va. Nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. If you want a reminder of a song that could help you with this, the Pink Panther tune could help. You could sing Je vais, tu vas, il va, elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils, elles vont. So aller to go, je vais, tu vas, il va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont. We will have that at the beginning of the sentence, followed by the activity we're going to do. If you just have the verb aller, then you're talking about right now. So if I say je vais à la bibliothèque, I am on my way currently. If I say nous n'allons pas au marché, that's a current thing that I'm talking about. Le futur proche, the near future, is me making plans for things happening soon. Like je vais étudier ce soir. I'm going to study tonight. Or nous allons quitter la maison. We're going to leave the house. And maybe I could give more detail as to when. If you are forming le futur proche, you take the present tense of aller, you conjugate it in the present, plus you add a second verb. You don't conjugate that second verb, you leave it in the infinitive. That's le futur proche, that's talking about what is going to happen. For example, elles vont déjeuner sur la terrasse. They're going to eat lunch. So I have two verbs side by side. The first one is conjugated. Aller in blue here is conjugated. Déjeuner is just an ER verb left alone. Je vais quitter la maison à 16 heures. I'm going, conjugated, to leave, infinitive, the house at 4. Nous allons explorer le centre-ville. We're going to explore the city center or downtown. Does that make sense so far? So the near future has two verbs. The first one is aller, conjugated. The second one is just the infinitive. You don't conjugate it. If you conjugated both, it would say, they're going, they eat lunch on the terrace. I'm going, I leave the house. And that's too much work. You don't have to conjugate the second verb. Let's try it out. Comment dit-on? How do you say, I'm going to eat at the cafe? Well, your first verb, I'm going, that's je vais. And what is the verb to eat? Manger. And then you'll have the rest of your sentence. We are going to talk on the phone. We are going is nous allons, or you could put on va if you're feeling casual. To talk, parler. Nous allons parler au téléphone. That's about it for le futur proche. It doesn't get too difficult after that. There are two things I want to point out that are left. One is that what if you're not going to do those things? To make the phrase negative, you use good old ne pas, and you sandwich ne pas around your first verb, which is aller. You might need to do an N apostrophe. You'll need that for the nous and the vous forms that start with the letter A. So you'll say je ne vais pas, tu ne vas pas, elle ne va pas. Nous n'allons pas, vous n'allez pas, elles ne vont pas. And then you'll add the rest. So you don't put ne pas around both verbs, you just put it around aller. I'm not going to forget the homework. Je ne vais pas oublier les devoirs. This is what we do in English too, if you look closely. I am not going gets the negative, then you put the rest to forget the homework. Tu ne vas pas manger au restaurant. You're not going to eat at the restaurant. So tu ne vas pas, you put ne pas around aller. Here's an example with an N apostrophe. Nous n'allons pas dépenser de l'argent. Nous n'allons pas, we're not going. Dépenser, to spend. De l'argent, we're not going to spend money. Let's try it again. He's not going to invite his friend. That's rude. Il ne va pas. And then the rest. Inviter son ami. You all are not going to eat lunch. You all is vous. N'allez pas déjeuner. Vous n'allez pas déjeuner. Lastly, I want to just point out, because it feels kind of weird, you can use the verb aller 2 times, because you can say, I'm not going to go. She's not going to go. We're not going to go. We use that all the time. In English, it doesn't feel weird to say going to go with all those goes, but in French, it looks a little weird. So, je vais aller à la piscine. That one's not confusing. Je vais aller à la piscine. I'm going to go to the pool. But when you start to use the nous and vous forms, it feels a little bit weird because you're saying, vous allez aller au cinéma ce soir. Can you have 2 allez right next to each other? Sure. Vous allez aller au cinéma ce soir? You're going to go to the movies tonight. Aller, aller, spelled differently. They have different uses. One is conjugated, one is the infinitive. It just sounds weird when you say it at first. Vous allez aller au cinéma. You're going to go. Lastly, you can pause this if you already know these words, but I wanted to point out some useful terms for talking about the near future. We have the days of the week. Écoutez. Lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche. You can always replay this and slow it down if you want me to be a little slower in the video. For days of the week, you don't capitalize them and you don't put anything in front. So if I want to say, I'm going to go ice skating on Monday. Je vais patiner lundi. That's all you have to do. And it's understood that it's like this coming Monday. You can add more words to that. Matin is morning. So if I said lundi matin, Monday morning, mardi matin, Tuesday morning, or I could just say ce matin to say this morning, ce matin. Ce means this one. Après-midi is the afternoon. So mercredi après-midi is Wednesday afternoon, jeudi après-midi. Or I could just say cet après-midi for this afternoon. Soir means evening. So ce soir is tonight. Vendredi soir is Friday night. Samedi soir, Saturday night. And then a few other phrases. Ce weekend is this coming weekend. Ce weekend. Next week, la semaine prochaine. La semaine prochaine. Next month, le mois prochain, the masculine form of prochaine. Le mois prochain. And you could even make near future plans for next year. L'année prochaine. L'année prochaine. Demain means tomorrow. Demain. And then you could put prochain, prochaine after other things like days of the week. I could say lundi prochain, mardi prochain, dimanche prochain, if I wanted to emphasize next Sunday, dimanche prochain. So here are some examples. Nous allons travailler, we're going to work, lundi après-midi. We're going to work Monday afternoon. Nous allons travailler mercredi prochain. We're going to work next Wednesday. Nous allons travailler cet après-midi, this afternoon. You could even give specific times if you know how to tell time in French, which is not as hard as you might make it out to be. You just say à plus a number plus heure. À 6 heures, à 7 heures, à 8 heures, à 19 heures. Voilà. So this is the near future. It is the verb aller conjugated plus an infinitive put together to talk about things happening soon. Au revoir.